Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of 7 Minute Scaling Secrets, where we interview entrepreneurs and learn the secret on how they scaled up their businesses. Today we have a special guest, Donovan Matthews, who runs Bryden Apparel, a fashion brand that supplies D2C startups and businesses. Donovan, welcome to the show and tell us a little bit more about Bryden. This episode was brought to you by Superscaling. Join the Superscaling Ignite program today and learn how you can systemize and superscale your business so that your revenues can grow to at least $100,000 a month with a productive team from all over the world, raving fans as clients and happy founders who have true freedom. Visit superscaling.com/ignite today. And now back to the episode.
Hi, Arvin. Thank you for having me on the show today. So, I'm Donovan, and I started Bryden about 8 years ago to basically help clothing brands, startups to get their ideas brought to life in a very simple and good way, so that they can get quality products without having the risk of getting bad products. So, I started Bryden 8 years ago because I saw a gap in the market while working at different fashion companies. So I started my own company when I was 23, and it took me quite a while to find a good manufacturer. So actually, it's about a year. And I thought that why is this process so difficult? But I didn't actually act on it at the point of time because I was focused on starting my clothing brand.
Right.
So after that, I sold my clothing brand to someone, and then I worked for other fashion e-commerce retailers like Zalora and stuff like that. So throughout my whole process and career throughout these brands and companies, the problem of sourcing and getting good quality merchandise has always been a prevalent problem, even at a big company like Zalora, where we have big teams and bigger budgets. So after I left my last startup, I actually thought that why don't I try to tackle this problem, since I have the required experience and I know some people and know how things work better, and I think there will be a demand for people that will be looking for this kind of service. So that's how I got Bryden started.
Nice.
Yeah.
What it's a interesting area to go into, because Bryden is actually B2B, right?
Yes, we are B2B.
How did you decide that you wanted to do that? It's not an everyday thing that people want to go into fashion, B2B fashion.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's quite a tough thing to do, like supply chain, fashion,
Yeah.
manufacturing, and I don't even study for that. I mean, I did business in school, so it's not really like I'm technically very competent in this. So, but I think for me, it's like I have a passion to see things getting made and also helping people. So I thought that I could, do this and offer this as a service to people around the world.
Nice. So Bryden is actually based completely in Singapore?
So we are based in Singapore and China. So China is where all our stuff get made. And I
Nice.
also have staff in China to oversee stuff like QC and sourcing as well.
Well, how do you even manage to find contacts to do everything from the manufacturing to the fulfillment to the even the raw supplies?
So during my time in China, I was actually during my time in Zalora, I actually was based in China for a while. So I basically walk the ground and get to know things inside out, from where the fabrics are made to where they are sold and where factories are, and basically see how the whole supply chain works actually. Yeah.
Yeah, because you need to know all that in order to do a proper B2B business.
Yeah.
So congrats on that. That's really not easy. I mean, I know the B2B space is totally different from B2C. You have so
It's
many
true.
so many of the back end stuff that you don't get as a B2C kind of startup. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Hopefully this is a journey that's been fulfilling and rewarding for you.
I think it has been rewarding for me when I see my customers getting the product and they love it, and then when they come back to me and tell me, "Yo, Donovan, wow, my customers love the quality, and I'm getting sold really fast. So I'll be looking to start a second order very soon." So those type of comments actually really make my day. So it reminds me of why I even start this business in the first place. Yeah.
Love it. Do you have any like notable brands that you are serving that you can share, or is that PNC?
Most of them under like PNC, but I'll say like maybe one of the biggest is like SingPost. We started off with a SingPost order from my previous startup. So I took on the order and actually made like the SingPost postman shoes for them.
Oh wow,
Yeah, yeah. And
wow,
we actually designed the uniform that you see them wearing now.
nice.
Yeah.
So
So
so you guys do everything, not just clothes, but also footwear.
so we actually mainly do apparel, but the footwear was a special one-off project.
Ah,
That I so yeah, but mainly now we focus on apparel.
very cool. Oh, love it. That's a massive order. I mean, SingPost has like thousands of employees. That's
Yeah, yeah,
insane.
they do.
That's insane. Okay, okay, cool. What can you share a little bit about the first startup that you had? That was B2C, right?
That was the B2C startup. So I was the time inspired by Threadless. I'm not sure if you remember Threadless.
T-shirts,
So t-shirts, so graphic tee. So I
right?
wanted to start something similar to Threadless, but for Asia market. So basically getting Asian designers to design, and then we have like a kind of like a marketplace and sell all these graphic t-shirts when a certain order limit is reached. Then we start to produce them. So,
Ah,
but after like going through the process, I thought that I think it would be hard to compete with Threadless. So I decided to do a more curated kind of t-shirt brand. So basically what I did was to actually approach artists that I think fits the kind of team that I'm looking for and give them a design team to actually design on.
I
So
see.
basically I created a couple collections and sold them from e-commerce website back then.
Okay.
Yeah.
And after it grew, you decided to exit because it
I actually
was
decided to exit because I wanted to also grow as a person and try to work in other organizations to learn more about the whole ecosystem of e-commerce, fashion as well. Yeah,
okay.
so that's why just nice as an offer came in, and I thought, why not sell it and start a new chapter in my life.
Yeah, I love the fact that you went on to solve like real problems that you saw in the industry, and that came about because of your role in the fashion industry. So that's cool because that solving pain points and problems, I feel, is the fundamental need for businesses. Yeah. So how did a business graduate major get into fashion, like all the way deep into fashion, from B2C to like all the way to B2B. If we chart your life, basically you just I would imagine you just graduated, and then ever since then you've been like all the
Yeah,
way deep into the fashion industry already.
yeah. I sold my life to the fashion industry. So I think I always been interested in creative stuff. My mom is like an artist, so maybe that's where I got some creative genes from her. But I don't think I'll make a very good designer, or maybe I haven't tried. But I think I do have the enjoyment of seeing like things being worn, things being created, and people appreciation for creative stuff. So I thought I could make myself useful in this so-called sphere, and like that's why I started my own brand and get my feet wet and see where it takes me.
Very
So
cool.
yeah,
I mean, Threadless, I don't know. Actually, I haven't heard of Threadless in a while. I'm not sure. If is Threadless still around?
I think they are.
Yeah, so in case anybody doesn't know what Threadless is, they basically do it's almost like print on demand, right? They have various designs that artists can create and post onto their website, and people can actually like order those designs. I don't know if there's a minimum quantity or not, but there's usually a lot of designs they can choose from, and based on the popularity, like based on how many people order, the t-shirts are ranked, and you can start to see the trending ones, or you can just search for collections, right, on like maybe
Yep.
even the latest news or the latest like memes are always there, and you can always like order t-shirts. So it's quite a black hole, because once you start, you realize that there are so many like cool, funny, interesting t-shirt designs that you can actually order. Yeah, so that was something cool, because you definitely didn't get that in Singapore. Back then, t-shirts were always like, you had to like look for the right one, and you don't really get a lot of like designs.
True, yeah.
Yeah, so when they came on, it was quite the
Thing
innovative,
actually.
yeah, idea. Yeah, cool. All right, so what is the vision for Brighton? Like, where do you see you guys heading to in the next 5 years, 10 years?
I think for me, like I see myself like continuing to provide this service, and I would like to also provide more resources, maybe online like content that can actually help these brand owners. So I think also maybe community building is something that I might be looking at. So we have a small cohort of like people that we can share ins and outs of how to build successful brands. I think that will be something also interesting for me as well.
Successful fashion B2C brands.
Yeah. So I think one thing I realized throughout my journey in Brighton is like, yes, the customers have ideas and I'm able to help them execute, but I think there's also more to like having more to running a successful brand, which includes like marketing or maybe stuff like like logistics and stuff like that. So I
Yeah.
think like marketing is really a very big part of like what determines your success for an e-commerce brand, fashion brand. So I might see myself doing something along that sphere of maybe providing resources or like having like community learning or courses about that. Yeah, I
Nice.
think I think that would be helpful for them.
Yeah, I mean, the fashion industry is pretty opaque, I think, because again, it's really difficult to get into. It's not like a digital space where information is readily available. And that's why it's so impressive that you not just went into fashion B2C, but you went to fashion B2B, which is like all the way in when you just dive into the deep end of the pool.
Yeah,
And that community that you talked about, I think that's awesome. It's not just about, the transactional relationship that B2B can have,
true.
but,
Yeah,
how we support this community that is going on, with the resources, the knowledge, the support that the entrepreneurs and business owners can have. Cool.
yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Well, tell us a little bit more. You mentioned a few great points and great events that have happened throughout your
Mm-hmm.
journey. Are there any low points?
Wow, I think there have been a couple of low points in the past few years because of like the whole COVID situation. So actually, the whole COVID, I took quite a big hit on the our business took quite a big hit. So our business actually dropped by 40 to 50% from the previous year.
Wow.
So yeah, and basically orders dropped, and then it was a tough time for everybody because I was trying to keep everyone and not like prolong them or like lower their pay or retrench them, but it's quite tough because like mentally you still have to stay strong and keep everybody motivated, but you don't see like where's the angle because it was so uncertain. Like policies were changing every day, supply chains were all stopped, lockdowns were very frequent. So I think it was hard for me mentally. So I I think it's quite a tough time. So that was really quite a low period in the
Oh
whole
man.
history.
And it
But
lasted more than a year, right? I think, or actually the actual lockdown may be a bit shorter, but the effects I think were definitely more than a year. And you had to worry about two countries at least.
no, actually, I have to worry about the whole world because my business supplies to the whole world. So mainly US, Australia, UK are my markets. So while China at the start was okay, they could still go on. And the US and UK were being locked down. And of course, Singapore was locked down as well. Couldn't get to the office, which makes things more inconvenient.
Yeah.
Then after that, when US start to open up, then things got a bit better, but people are still wary of starting new business or placing more orders because no one is really going out. So everybody's very afraid, apprehensive at that time. So that's why I think it was a very negative sentiment in there. And then back then, this year China had a lockdown, so
Yeah.
then it stopped orders. Like customers are ready to order, and then we cannot deliver, and yeah, it's
Is
very
that still
stressful.
is that still going on? Because I know the lockdowns in China are still happening.
So actually, the lockdowns they happened last 2 months. There were quite frequent lockdowns, but the China government U-turn and reversed their policy, and now they're opening up. But I'm also worried because now we're going to see more waves of infection. But thankfully, it's happening at the tail end of the year, and China's going to go on Chinese New Year holidays. So most of our orders have already been shipped, but there are still some orders that are delayed because of this change in situation.
I see.
Yeah, so right now the factory, like more than half of the staff actually are COVID positive now. So
Oh wow.
so we are running at half capacity.
Wow, that's a lot. Wow, shit.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
just after they opened. Everybody got positive. So it's quite a challenge again. You know, it's something that's beyond your control. Everything you can do as an entrepreneur, you have
Yeah.
already done, and these are the things that hit you, and you're gonna ask yourself, what can you do? I think the only thing you can do is to stay strong, stay calm, and stay positive, and navigate each loophole as they each like issue as they come along.
Yeah, so it's like another 1 or 2 months downtime for you right now, right? Because if the people are down with COVID, they have to rest for I don't know 20 days or something like that, and then it's winter, and then the Lunar New Year is right around the corner, so that's
So
where
I
China
think
shuts down
this,
also, right?
yeah, it kind of shuts down, but I think they're shutting down at the right time for me. I'm trying to be positive about it. At least they locked down. I mean, they everything coincide at the right moment, and most orders have been shipped.
Okay,
So
that's a
I'm
good
gonna
thing.
use this maybe this downtime to maybe think about new business ideas. So maybe I might try to open a Etsy store of my own to sell like craft supplies, like labels and tags and stuff like that, and experiment from there.
I see. All
Yeah,
right, cool. Yeah. Hopefully things go well. And
you
and
have to
and
believe.
yeah, we would like to hear a bit more about like what you feel are the like the most important habits in order to be a successful entrepreneur. Is that resilience? It sounds like a lot of patience is necessary. What would you say the most important habit is?
I think for me, the most important habit that I have was to always be curious about things because I think curiosity leads to discovery and it also leads to self improvement and it drives positive change as well in business and also yourself. So like curiosity about how things work make me go into B2B. Curiosity about like how can I make things better compared to how I experienced in my search for a manufacturer led me to think of the customer of how they would like to be serviced and what kind of service and help they do need to make the whole process better. So curiosity has led me to a lot of good things I feel as an entrepreneur. And also like for example, if like talking about internal process like discovering about Notion this year has and implementing Notion in our whole project management flow has made things also easier.
Nice.
So I think curiosity is a good thing that an entrepreneur should have and yeah, and try to use it to their advantage.
I love Notion as well. Been using it
Yeah.
for super scaling and even CLDY. So it's awesome. Keeps everything in check and it's so flexible. It's not just a notepad, it's actually a database and it's amazing.
Yeah, I love the flexibility of it and you can like customize it to suit you instead of the other way around where other software is like you have to suit you have to
Yeah.
build your process around their software. It's like very limiting in a way.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. What advice would you give another business owner?
I think there are a couple of advice that I can give any new business owner or even existing ones. I think is first thing for me is to have a clear vision of what you want because you're actually the main driver and the business, right? And everybody is going to look for you for directions and going with your flow. So you need to be very clear of what you want. That's number one. And second thing, I think you need to be very attuned to what the customer wants, what they need, and be aware of your own biases to avoid being blindsided by building things that people don't need.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think they are like they are smarter, they know what the customers want, but They don't even ask. And then they start to spend a lot of time, resources, and build something, and they realize that,
It's not what
it looks nice, but no, it's not what you want. You're not gonna pay for it. And then you get like, downtrodden, and you're gonna quit your whole startup journey or business journey. So that's number two for me. And lastly, I think be resilient, don't give up so easily, and keep open mind, because there's always more than one way to solve a problem. Yeah, you got to keep trying, and don't be afraid of failure.
I mean, I love this vision, problems, and resilience. I think, yeah, I completely agree. We need to know why we do things. We need to know why we are doing them for, and we need to know that we've got to stick by the journey, and that's something that entrepreneurship absolutely requires. I love the fact that you started Bryden because you knew that there were problems in the market because you were in the market. I think that was the best way to find out. You're not just doing it because you think it's cool or because you think there's a problem. You've actually experienced the problem and you created a business around that. And you proved that resilience is absolutely necessary. You proved that, you had to have it, and you went through all the ups and downs. That's entrepreneurship. So
yeah, I mean, it's hard, but I think enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, because I think it also makes you a better person as well.
yeah.
Yeah, and be prepared for whatever comes in life, like even parenthood or having your own kids, and buying a house or anything like that.
Yep. Completely agree. I think the values that make entrepreneurs are pretty applicable in most aspects of life also. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's like Survivor.
It is.
Survival at the end.
I think that the resilience that entrepreneurs need to have really, really, creates a mindset that's almost like a little bit different.
Yeah, definitely. People who don't, I think they look at us and think we are actually crazy people. Yeah, I do get that a lot. It's like, how can you like go through all this, go like at times without pay, and like still be so upbeat about things. So I think sometimes we are actually a bit crazy, but we believe in what we believe in, right?
When you look at Elon Musk, right, people see all the fancy stuff and the billions, right? But then they don't see like it probably is billions also on the balance sheet that he's responsible for, the loans or the debt that he takes on in order to finance and to service like the resources, the staff, the operations, or the deals that he makes. Or the people, the millions of not millions, probably the thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that are reporting to him or that he's responsible for. Man, that's insane. I mean, people see the Twitter, people see like the good stuff, but
the glitzy side,
the level of mental fortitude you need to have to go through all of that is insane.
Yeah, it is. I think founders should maybe have like a good space to actually share with like all the ups and downs also as well.
Exactly, man. That's what I'm trying to do at Super Scaling. To create that same community that you mentioned also. So that's so necessary.
That's great.
All right. Donovan, thanks for coming on to the show. Please tell the audience how best can they reach out to you or Bryden.
Okay, so if you want to take a look, you can go to my website, which is brydenapparel.com, BRYDENAPPAREL.com. Or you can also reach out to our Instagram on which the handle is Bryden Apparel as well. So yeah, you can just reach out to us on these two platforms, and I'll be happy to field any questions or answer any questions you have about starting your brand or even about your entrepreneur journey as well.
Sweet. I'll have those two links linked into the show notes down below as well. Thanks so much, Donovan. Thanks everybody for listening into this episode of 7 Minutes Scaling Secrets. I hope you guys had fun and enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe this episode. And I look forward to speaking with you guys in the next episode. Take care.
Thank you.